Sweat Equity Podcast.
Oh shit! Yeah, I think you're a spy, dude.
I think
you're a spy.
I'm KGB, JK. I definitely almost threw up during this interview.
I know.
Like 5 minutes in, so I think I had a stroke. For real.
Never
I don't know.
use that one.
I was literally sweaty on the Sweat Equity Podcast and streaming show, the #1 comedy business comedy podcast in the world, pragmatic entrepreneurial advice, real raw dog talk. We have Vadim Davydov on, Vadim Photos on Instagram, at Vadim Photos on Instagram. He's going to do an NFT coming up, a bunch of NFTs, it sounds like, to sponsor Ukraine. The fight.
He is Russian.
He's a Russian-born, St. Petersburg, Russia
for
born.
9 years.
Yeah, and left because of entrepreneurship. You can't really do it in Russia, so he went to St. Pete, Florida.
And he said Putin.
And he
left because of Putin.
He left because of Putin. He had the foresight to see that the country is in disarray. This is an unusual episode for us. It's a very special episode of Sweat Equity Podcast. We'll make that the sponsor for this episode. We'll put links in the episodes if you want to hear his backstory from previous episodes. And then, as always, listen to us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Hook up that subscribe, rate us 5-star, write a little something in the comment on the rating, and that's it. That's our only sponsor. Are you good? Hotty toddy!
Oh man, are you gonna die, dude?
What about my sweat equity? Sweat equity.
We're all on the way
My
out.
sweat equity. My sweat equity. Sweat equity. What about my sweat equity?
Oh, God. Stunning. Stunning headshot.
What's up, guys?
Can you go back to your headshot?
Yes, please.
I mean, whoa, gosh.
Man.
Well, we should do your plugs at the top. If anybody's looking on video, ladies,
Want a headshot?
ladies, put your drip trays under your seats.
Don't be gross.
Well, I mean, gosh.
And here you go, reality, right?
Look how good a photographer he is.
Well, the common theme on this show is everybody doesn't work on their own stuff as much as they need to.
I don't know.
I
Good
think
headshot. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about he's talking about the difference between the headshot and here. I thought you were making fun of him framing.
This doesn't count.
I thought you were talking about his framing right here, or his goatee he has now. He looks like an evil version of himself.
Oh yeah.
I like that you guys don't have any distance between you.
Oh no, we get up close.
We're touching toesies underneath the table.
Yeah, you're even closer than in the studio before.
Right.
So COVID make you...
This is by choice. This room is like 40 feet in every direction. We just sit like this because we like it.
That's how we do it, like Montel Jordan. Why don't you throw your plugs before you educate us on stuff? Where can people find you? Website, Instagram. What are your handles?
You can just find on Instagram Vadim Photos.
All right, Vadim Photos.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I didn't know
You were going to think about trying to spell it, and then you're like, I don't know for sure, so I'm not going to try.
I was trying to make a joke in there, but
Now's not the time.
it's I figured a soft landing into this subject.
But aim, what is going on?
Well, how about this? Eric and I will tell you what we know thus far, which is not a lot.
Yes.
About
Starlink.
with Elon, right?
I think we both agree that was really fucking cool.
It was a badass move for those that don't know.
It's Tony Stark shit. Deploy Starlink.
The president of Ukraine is a pretty big badass. Apparently, he was kind of a TV on-air personality, like comedy-wise.
Yeah, he was the voice of Paddington Bear.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's Paddington out there fighting.
I got no reference to
I couldn't tell if
Is that the one with the overcoat?
I saw I saw a picture of him where he was standing next to two guys trying to join whatever big group that was he wanted to join, and he was literally 18 inches shorter than the shorter guy. There was three guys, and one was humongous, and he was like down here.
Yeah.
Is he teeny tiny, Vadim?
Yeah, he's a. Just in case I'm not Ukrainian.
No,
We know.
We're gonna
Sorry,
set
we're
it
gonna
up.
get there. I'm
We're-
just talking about this guy.
But we know
Yeah,
how
but I
this is
assume you
titled.
know
The title
this
of this is going to be something like "How to Educate Idiots About What's Going On."
We're doing stupid guy act here, for the show.
We'll have an intro to this before the interview kicks
We'll
in.
explain it all.
But basically, what I looked up in our research, looked up the Klitschko brothers for about 30 minutes
Right.
to make sure they played chess and are bright guys. So that's a fact we know. I saw Miss Ukraine is the theme I see that's very
The firearm.
yeah. I don't know if that's legit or not. I assume it is.
Yeah,
But
good spot.
the theme of that, taking from that, kind of extrapolating it out, the theme seems to be like what the president said. When U.S. offered refuge, he's like, I don't need a ride. I need ammunition. And everybody's like, no, we're here. This is this is our home. Look, war's been going on for thousands of years. So the real interesting part of this that throws a nugget. We haven't had something like as big as this in the social media era,
Pretty intense, yeah.
right? So, so give your background real quick. If anybody wants to listen to previous episodes, we'll link them in this description, where you kind of tell us your story. I'll encapsulate it as St. Petersburg, Russia to St. Petersburg, Florida, the rare St. Pete to St. Pete. You grew up.
You gonna let him tell it or what?
Wait, I'm trying to Odessa. Is that wait? No.
Ooh,
What's
you know
the
who
city?
knows this story really good?
No,
Vadim, is
I was
this
trying
your
to think-
first time?
I was trying to think of the city
What are
that
you
he
doing?
started in.
Why? Nobody cares
e-commerce?
that you get it right.
St. Pete.
Okay, St. Pete.
So
See,
you got it right the first time.
Boom, nailed it. I shouldn't have overtalked myself.
Everybody mark that down in your scorecards.
So that's the reset of the table for everybody. But we'll let you give us your background and then thoughts on all of this. Teach us things.
Oh, I should start. But
Hold on, let me
Yeah,
tell
guys,
you about
yeah.
your life.
Hold on. You were a baby boy at one point.
Sorry. Okay.
Beautiful baby boy.
We're done.
All right. Sorry. All right. Give the short version of your background growing up, and and we can kind of get into it. How about that?
yeah, I born in St. Pete, Russia, and then I moved to US about almost 9 years ago. And I moved because of the madness of the Putin regime, and I always been in the opposition, and I probably described that very well on the previous episodes. And I still have the same opinion about the Putin regime in general, but even me, I was shocked when they did it and how they did it. And I think the biggest reason why it happened, because in 2014, Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, she visited with like a Putin, and she was very close to Putin, and she said that Putin, he lost sense of reality, because probably he explained her his plans and like his point of view and all this stuff. And from 2014 till now, at 8 years, this sense got even worse. So I feel like this is the main reason what's happening right now. Second, he's a professional KGB guy, and he know how to get people. I don't know the word. Like
Manipulate?
Persuade.
Yeah, persuading. Yeah. So, and he did this professionally through the media. It's not just a clear propaganda. It's a literally KGB style getting people in, and like let them believe truly inside in his opinion.
Yeah,
So I feel-
persuasion and manipulation.
Yes, but it's not like you can spot the propaganda, but what they did, it's deeper stuff.
It's subtle. It's a long
Yeah.
play. You don't even.
Yeah.
They don't even. You don't even know what's
What
happening.
allowed them what allowed them, like today in the federal TV channel, a lady, a news anchor, she said, in Ukraine right now, if you can't say on Ukrainian language correct word strawberry, they will kill you.
Whoa.
And she said this on whole fucking Russia.
Whoa.
This is bullshit, and people will eat that because how deep of this mind stuff. Okay.
That's like on CNN.
Yes, it's like exactly the same. Can you imagine on CNN somebody will say if you will have American accent in Canada, they will fuck you. It's the same.
Oof. Intense.
So
you're a visionary.
And the last one, the main reason why it happened, what happened, it's a large mistake. Like, can you imagine if you still live in 2005 or 2008, and you believe that you can still like go and grab like a piece of land like they did in 2014, and everybody will be okay with that, and like okay, we will get some sanctions, but it will not be harsh. So if you have the same mindset that you can go and fuck whole country and no one will give you anything, this mindset leads you to this large mistake. And Russia right now are losing the war, and they will lose the war.
Yeah.
You still, you love, if I remember, you love the country, but you don't love the way it's governed.
Correct. Yeah, I love the country. I would be happy to live there, but not with this government, because they, like right now, if you donate money to Ukraine, they give you 20 years prison. If you post, like I did on the Instagram, if you post something about war and you call it war because they don't call it war, you get 15 years. So I'm about 35 years in the prison time in Russia.
You're badass. Yeah, when I saw Putin equals Hitler, I was like, we got to get Vadim back on immediately.
So everybody will find me sooner.
Well, it's still a hot take. We got the exclusive.
And we will add this like 2 other episodes when I explain.
I'll CGI a mustache and a funny hat.
Just book a headshot session with this guy.
There you go. Hey, if you get one, it's worth it. Yeah, man. With the social media, I hope it's like a huge lesson for everybody, where it's like you're not really going to get away with pretty much anything anymore, hopefully, or at least a huge deterrent to this sort of shit, right?
You see how bad I'm sweating right now?
Yeah.
Dude, I got like all flushed the last like 5 minutes for some reason. I was like, oh, I might throw
maybe
up.
if you got here earlier instead of
I think it's
running in.
Nicotine gum and no din-din. My body's like, hey, I'm going to cool you down. I'm just going to make you look like you're fucking...
Turn the fan on.
So another thing, can you imagine that you truly believe that in downtown of like Kiev, or in Kiev in general, there's a group of people that have this like a Nazi mindset and holding all the people like you holding in your country, but under like a Nazi mindset? I believe that this is what Putin thinks and what he believes other people, because this is their agenda. There's a like a fascist, there's a Nazi sitting on the government. That's why we're going there, to make people free from the Nazi. This is the main agenda.
Oh, that's what he said. I didn't hear that at all. I didn't know that. That's what he was feeding to the people, huh?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty weak.
Kiev, in after 2014, after Maidan, people in Kiev and in Ukraine in general, they more free in terms of like they have a more freedom of the speech. They have like a support from Europe, from like a US. They're more free, you know.
Right.
And people inside they're more free.
Right.
And the Putin thought that he will come there, and there will be the same people like in Russia who can't say a word back, who will be like, okay, you come to invade us, it's okay, like don't touch my house, please, but you do whatever you want. People
Yeah.
not like that anymore. They will fight, and whole country will fight.
Yeah, and him going in there, if you think about it, to take out, I take over a country because there's a democratically elected official who he says is a Nazi. Does he understand the irony in what he's doing? Just completely over with military overthrowing that government, democratically elected government, and then doing this, and that's his excuse.
Yeah, their plan was to get it in 2 days,
Whoops.
like to come quickly with the special forces. Got it. Like everything should work like perfectly. They have I believe that they have a beautiful plan that they build it over maybe not even a month, like a year or something. And when they come, first of all, because people like a leadership, like can you imagine like 20 years of somebody sitting in the company and like a bunch of people they don't like him too, and the leadership is fucked, the idea is fucked,
Right.
and there's no way that execution will be not fucked. They can't kill Navalny for fucking 2.5 years, and they follow like a whole group of like the highest secret FSB guys follow him and fly to him and try to poison him, and they can't. And
Give it a minute. I think that I don't think he's as safe as he once was. I'll bet. I mean, there's probably dudes in that room that are like, all right, I'm over this shit. Who's with me? Hope
you
so.
should watch the movie. Have you guys watched movie about Navalny?
No.
You will be surprised. Navalny, after they try to poison him,
That guy's badass.
he called to FSB guy who tried to poison him, and he pretend that he's the highest FSB guy, and that guy he answer a bunch of questions about poisoning.
Wow.
Really?
That really happened.
Yes, and
Wow.
you have to watch it, and it's a documentary. It's a,
Oh no shit.
and
Okay.
then after a coma, he spent like a month in coma. He came back to Russia, and they put him in jail. And right now he's 1 year in jail, and they trying to give him another 15.
Do they do anything less than 10 in Russia?
Yeah,
Is 10 the minimum?
I don't know. My
You're up
wife,
to 35. You're like
my
past it.
my
You're
wife
there.
cousin was arrested today with his wife in the protest in St. Pete.
Whoa.
Yeah, I saw the big protest going on. It was like I couldn't imagine that many people were out there. Given that it ain't the same protest rules we're used to here, that shows a lot of compassion on the Russian side too from the citizens. What are you getting from back home? Like, I mean, you just said your family got arrested.
Yeah, how did you know that? How did you find that out?
What exactly?
That your family got arrested.
I mean, we still can
Do
communicate.
they have? I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're shutting everything down. I have no idea what's happening. See?
I feel like
Talk to us
Telegram.
like we're five.
We started from the top that we don't know what's happening.
The Telegram, I feel like is the best tool, but today. I
Oh,
believe
right.
that-
Social media.
I was like,
The thing we talked about for 15 minutes.
the first thing I was like, the Telegram. That seems old school. Yeah, I forgot.
But
I
in
forgot it was an
Telegram
app.
right now,
I thought
everybody, all the news coming from Telegram,
Cool. Wow.
Huh?
and you can sign up for like a pro-Russian Telegram channels and pro-Ukrainian, something on the middle, and you can get all the news from there.
Okay. Do you do both or all three?
I do, yeah, all three.
Yeah? Good for you. Get all the angles.
Yeah, but there's no explanation to war, right? You don't need like a
Right.
lot of angles to explain.
Yes,
what's
I
going on.
completely agree. It's like, oh, do you like kids being alive? Okay, then there's no defending it, really.
Well, yeah. Why? I guess what are the broad strokes of why they're trying to get Ukraine? I mean, is it?
I mean, think money-wise, I think that Ukraine has a lot of natural resources, from what I've read in infographics.
Why? It's the same as a president of Turkey. He trying to get Osman Empire. back.
Just acquisition, just straight
Yeah,
up.
and Russia trying to get like a Russian empire back, like a Putin. He believes that it's his kind of
Destiny.
destiny. Yes,
Yeah. I think
but
I
it
think
was
him being a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs is a big problem here.
Yeah,
I hope he doesn't lose his temper.
it's just
just in case
I hope they have like one of those fake buttons.
the Ukrainian president, he was a actor, a professional actor.
Right.
yeah. He was like a Jon Stewart over there apparently, something like that, like on air talent, but sardonic kind of commentator.
Yeah. It's also crazy. It's like a movie.
Yeah, well,
I mean, the Ukraine especially just has so many characters, literally. I mean, like it's like Tom Cruise, getting elected president and then literally fighting in a war.
yeah.
And then there's people. Sean Penn's over there filming everything too.
That's what he does. He finds tragedy and he runs to it.
Like,
Well,
it's so crazy.
so
Crazy.
so it's just purely acquisition. Why not? Why Ukraine and why not something smaller?
Yeah, is there something?
Why not start out with like a starter
Is there
acquisition?
a deeper cultural?
Starter was in 2014. Putin started with a Crimea.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
He took a piece of Ukraine. It's called Crimea. Then he took eastern part of the Ukraine. Now it's called DNR and LNR.
Mm-hmm.
And for 8 years in DNR and LNR were fight with Ukraine and these parts. And it's a kind of rebels. But the way how he did it in 2014, after the government, how it's called, like when you change the government,
A coup?
a coup.
Like a coup d'etat? Like when the military just takes over? Are you talking a transition?
Yeah, but
What kind of
transition,
synonyms you want?
when actually people took over, and it was a very bad time for Ukraine. And the
Revolution? Is that the word?
Yeah,
you're looking for?
yeah, thank you, revolution. So after revolution, Putin came to these parts, and there's a more Russian-speaking communities in these parts, because Ukraine and Russia, it was always the same kind of country, kind of before,
Right.
The people know each other. We have relatives there, we have friends, and it's like very, very close. So he put there his propaganda, saying that people from other side of, like, south side of Ukraine will come to eastern and they will kill them because they speak Russian, they not speak Ukrainian. And like he show about, it's my theory, but he got like some people who like catching police guys and like beat them up. He like they make people afraid that somebody like a Nazi will come to them and kick their butts.
Make an example of him.
Sure.
Like we go around and kind of spot check, make sure people see it. So it makes that kind of like penalty well known, but they may not enforce it all the time.
Can you imagine you sitting in Eastern Park, you're watching TV, and they start talking about like, okay, there's a revolution, but this revolution made by Nazi, and Nazi will come and kick your butt. And you start getting afraid, and then Russians came with military, and they didn't have like it was not like a Russian flag or something. They have no anything. It was like a green
LL Bean sweaters.
Yeah, and they took over all the military bases without any shots, because there was a lot of Russian generals and all the stuff.
They tricked themselves.
And they make a referendum, like where people vote if they want to be free from Ukraine. This is what they did, and they make a zone free from Ukraine, but Ukraine will not agree because it's still fucking Ukraine. You can't come and take over Ukraine.
We're sending a guy down there to figure this out. This is not okay. You can't just walk away from it.
Crimea was like a very big part of that, and it was very big win for Putin. He was like enjoying his victory and all this stuff. But in Ukraine, they shut water down for Crimea, and people suffer in Crimea without water as well. then Putin, he built a bridge. He was so happy about it, and I feel like this euphoria and the feeling of victory leads him to the next lose. A lot of people right now, they defend or explain war because 8 years in this territory, like a DNR and LNR, were fight, and a lot of people, 14,000 people were die over 8 years. And a lot of people explaining like it's enough, a lot of people die, and now it's time to get them back. But they forget about it was a fucking Ukraine territory at that time as well.
Right.
So
to bring it business wise, maybe as a metaphor, you never give up equity if you don't have to. Don't have it forcefully taken.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with
That applies.
with land. Here's the thing. Like,
Don't
it's like
ever let somebody take your equity.
right, or we're talking like
Or
just
tell them
U.S.
that Nazis are going to take your equity,
or-
and then you get
the slow
something to save their
slow
equity.
thing on the citizens in a lot of ways to rally this kind of manipulation over time. Is that why a lot of people hate like use COVID in the United States, the regulations on that. A lot of people fight back because you keep making more regulations. They don't really go away a lot of times. I mean, they get repealed, stuff like that. But I'm saying, like, if you give the government more authority, more land, whatever it is, and kind of inch that into a slow progression, that's how you can kind of gain that kind of territory, right?
We're
it's called
confident.
cancer. It's called cancer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or metastase. And Putin is a metastase at this point.
There you go. Will we
Also,
get in trouble with him for?
No,
Also,
we don't have a lot of Russian people.
His belief that NATO came too close and Ukraine were about to get to join NATO,
Yeah.
which will reduce the amount of flight time for nuclear, like a rocket, from 15 minutes to fucking 10 minutes. And he's still living 2 years in the bunker. Right now, like some people saying that he moved to Altai. It's like a other part of the Russia. He has like a large bunker there in the mountain. So
I bet Russia has great places to hide.
Right.
Siberia. Good luck.
Arctic.
yeah,
Be like,
And,
just stay out there.
Wherever
Vladimir.
Santa Claus you think lives, he's probably
Think about what
go
you
that
did
far
in
north.
Siberia.
Yeah.
also the government, the Russian government, how this called diplomats that are living in other countries, like an embassy.
Diplomat works.
Yeah, the main guy, who in our like a diplomat or embassy guy,
Ambassador.
he got caught on selling or not selling to transferring cocaine, a large amount of cocaine.
Now we're talking.
That's the party.
Yep.
And if you watch interview with him, you can spot like the person who does cocaine who's not. And I feel like a lot of them doing cocaine. That's why they, you remember the Scarface. I'm not positive about Putin. I don't think so. Putin does cocaine, but a lot of people in the government they do. So in
of course.
Scarface, when this guy said like I'm Tony Montana, and this is how they act and how they
Right.
talk to the world, like who the fuck you are, guys?
I mean, think about it.
They're like
if
kids in college into rap culture.
if Putin's your
They love
boss,
Scarface.
if he's your boss, you are going to do every sort of drug you can to make sure you are on top of your shit so you don't get shot in the
Correct.
head.
Well, fear
Correct.
fear
Like,
makes
I got to get more blows so I can stay awake and
makes
finish
you,
getting his dry cleaning.
tired,
fear
exhausted.
fear makes
Yeah.
you exhausted, but also like I have to be at tip top. I got to do. They're probably overworking him like crazy. I mean, I think Hitler was amphetamine up all the time.
yeah.
They said so much so it started creating paranoia because like those uppers can get you like just speed abused enough for decades maybe that can like, and you're already kind of that maniac without it,
Just high on power sometimes.
if you will read the main person who speak from like a Russian embassy, it's a lady. Her name is Maria Zakharova. She recently she told Sweden and Finland that she like guys like shut your mouth, kind of like a you basically next, but it's the way how I said, but the context is like so aggressive. So and they
What did she threaten?
I hope not. I like IKEA a lot. That's where I get all my furniture. Don't take over Sweden. Finland.
the Volvo is already left Russia. They're all manufacturers like a Porsche, Audi. They're leaving Russia right now.
Good. Yeah, that we're gonna have our buddy on tomorrow to talk about that economic impact of that. You know how it's already emotion, no pun intended to the manufacturers, but
Yeah.
it's
That's the other flip side of 2022. Things are like, boom, economy flips on its head
well, yeah. If you're a
instantaneously.
big brand, we were talking about local restaurateur here. He's like the small thing I could do is boycott all vodka products from my restaurants, and you're like, or from Russia. So, boom, all that's gone, and I think we might see a lot more of that, which is an interesting how that communication can be. You know, we know the evils of social media and that kind of communication, but those are some of the good things.
The bright spot.
Yeah, and I see a lot of like good stories in my feed about Ukraine and the president and like,
funny stuff. I was telling you about the Ukrainians stealing the armored truck. They had it hooked up to a tractor. Just take it off. The guy's running after him. Bring me back my fucking tank. It's fun.
Well, we gotta cut this off. But any other things you can impart? Any other opinions on this whole thing?
Yeah, I feel like unfortunately it was happening. A lot of people dying, and I feel like more people will die because for Putin right now, it's only he can't go back. He can't say like, "Oh, I'm sorry, guys." He's too deep in the blood, and only one way he will push more in terms of like rockets. He already used like 2/3 of his attack power. If you're talking about military, he sent to. Can you imagine 8 years people were on war there in Ukraine, and they are so ready to fight, right? Like they experience
like Israel,
they experience fighters, and he's sending their fucking police guys, and they are just dying like that, and the whole world sending a bunch of ammunition, a bunch of money, a bunch of stuff to Ukraine, and there's no chance Russia will win. They will send more bombs and to try to negotiate, but Ukraine will not negotiate. People so upset about what happened. They will never go. They will never forgive Russia. They will never forgive Russians. Like I'm Russian, I feel guilty. I feel that even I was like a whole my life against the fucking Putin and like all this government. I left the country because of that. I still feel guilt on myself. And a lot of people, Russians, they will. I feel like it's for more generational stuff. It's like a black,
like a Maoist plan kind of thing.
Don't feel bad, buddy.
Yeah,
You didn't do it.
just take that Catholic guilt
Or
and
did you?
punch it into the drywall.
we have a team. Right now we work on the project. We do like an NFTs. And we will release tomorrow NFT project. 100% of the money will go to Ukraine, and we have 2 artists. One in Odessa right now, another in another city, Lvov, and the other guys from Ukraine, from Israel, from Belarus, from US participating in this project. And don't send me back to Russia, they will kill me.
We'll get married. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Green card marriage. Just to double piss them off. How about that?
Yeah.
We'd end up in jail trying to figure out how to send
Oh yeah,
somebody.
we could get pulled over. We could get pulled over to
Like,
Russia.
what do you mean you can't do that?
Well, make out with him right in front of me. All right. Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll have to have you back on to explain more.
Hopefully in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
it'll be all different in a good way.
I hope it will end soon. It should end soon, like 10 days max, I believe.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
No.
we'll definitely have you on. If it is 10 days, definitely after that. But if not, if it's longer, maybe throughout. All right, buddy. Appreciate it.
Peace.
Yeah, man.
Later.